Hi, I'm going to show you how to cook Spanish chicken tonight. This is a real firm favourite for the family. It is packed with Mediterranean vegetables, chicken and a few spices, and it's absolutely delicious. The other great thing is you cook it all in one pot, so there's not loads of washing up afterwards. Here I've got all the ingredients for the Spanish style chicken. To start with, we have the chicken thighs. These can have bones in, they can have skin on them, it really doesn't matter. These happen to be filleted, so they have no bones in, but whatever you can get from the supermarket is absolutely fine. I have tried this dish before with chicken breast, and I promise you, having the thighs is so much tastier, so definitely try and get chicken thighs if you can. The other thing is some potatoes. I think there's probably about 400 or 500 grams here. I've just quartered them lengthways, so they're nice little sort of wedgie shapes. These are some little new potatoes, but equally any potatoes you've got sort of left in the fridge will work perfectly. I think the recipe called originally for a white onion and a red onion. I've only got red onions in the fridge this week, so I've got 2 red onions in there. And to be honest, I love the red onion flavour. It gives a real caramelisation, quite a sweetness to it when it's roasted. Beautiful. We've also got a chorizo sausage cut up into, about 1/2 centimetre to 1 centimetre chunks. I think the recipe originally called for about 100 grams, but I just buy whatever the chorizo sausage is at the supermarket and use the whole lot. The great thing with this dish, as so many others on this website, is we've got so many dishes that can be used for leftovers the next day. So this, if we put too much into it, pop it into a wrap tomorrow lunchtime, it'd be absolutely delicious. We've also got a pepper, just little sliced chunks, really quite small. But you can use any colour you want. I happen to have yellow, but you could have a green one, an orange one, whatever you've got, whatever is easy to get. Again, the recipe originally called for some really big, or normal sized tomatoes, shall I say, that cut down into wedges. But I happen to have little baby tomatoes, so I'm just going to pop those in. The great thing, as you're probably getting to understand already, is this is a really adaptable dish. So you can put in whatever you've got. Basically, we're going to roast it all in the same tray. You can either use a roasting tin, or you can use some sort of casserole, flat casserole dish. So that's what I'm going to be roasting mine in. So the chicken and those delicious vegetables will all go into the same tray, and we just alter the times for how long each thing cooks for. So we're going to put in some potatoes and the onions and tomatoes to start with, as well as garlic. I can't believe I forgot to mention garlic. I'm using a lazy garlic. I always use lazy garlic. I just find it so easy, and it's great to have it all in the fridge. So the potatoes, the onions and the garlic and tomatoes are all going to go in that dish to start with. So to start with, if you're using a roasting tin or a dish, it really doesn't matter. Just pop a little bit of olive oil in there. If you haven't got olive oil, sunflower oil or any sort of vegetable oil. I also happen to have some chili oil in the cupboard, so I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of that, which will add a little bit more flavour as well. So into that little bit of oil goes those potatoes, the onions and the tomatoes, as well as a really nice generous serving of freshly ground salt if you have it, otherwise probably about 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and generous amounts of black pepper. And all we're going to do is gently wiggle those around in the bowl, toss them through. Obviously use a spatula or a spoon if you want to. I'm quite happy to get my hands a little bit dirty and greasy. I don't mind. They're lovely clean hands. I've just washed them, so I'm just going to toss them through in that salt and pepper. Beautiful. And that's going to go in the oven for 20 minutes. Whilst those vegetables start cooking for the 20 minutes, I'm going to prepare the chicken. So what I've just done is just slashed through these chicken thighs. I'm going to add the paprika and some oregano to it, and I really want the thighs to suck up all the flavours from the herbs and spices. So by putting those slashes in, you're going to get the flavour right inside. Firstly, I'm going to give them some salt and pepper. And then some oregano, probably about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons between them. This is one of those dishes that the more you cook it, the more confidence you'll get with it, and the more you can play around with some of the flavours. So that's about a teaspoon so far. Let's have a look whether I think that's enough. Yeah, let's have a little bit more. To start with, maybe just do a teaspoon. As I say, if you really love the flavours, the next time you cook it, you can put a little bit more on. Again, with the paprika, I'm going to do about a teaspoon to start with. Paprika is such a beautiful spice to cook with. It is a little bit hot, but it's a very warming spice. It's sort of not like the chili that sort of blows the roof off your mouth sometimes. As I say, it just adds that warmth. And when this mixes with the caramelized onions and all those beautiful Mediterranean peppers that have been roasted, as well as those potatoes, you just get a little taste explosion going off in your mouth. So as soon as those vegetables have done their 20 minutes, I'm going to add this into the dish. The vegetables have been cooking for nearly 20 minutes now, so we'll get them out in a moment. And then what we're going to do is take that chorizo and mix it all in with those vegetables. We're also going to put some garlic in. You can hear the beeping now. Let me go and get that out of the oven. Okay, so I've just got this out of the oven and it's starting to roast beautifully. I'm going to toss those vegetables around a little bit and then get that chorizo and mix that in. Gorgeous. Oh, it smells amazing already. We're also going to put some garlic in at this stage. Now I'm using lazy garlic, so 1 teaspoon equals 1 clove. So I'm going to put about 4 or 5 of these in and then work it through. Now, interestingly, if you were to just use garlic cloves, you can put them in whole. The roasting process is such that the skins really, really relax down and they're lovely and soft by the time they've roasted. So if you have got garlic cloves, just pop them in unpeeled and it will be absolutely delicious. So I'm just working that garlic right through. And then we've got that bed of vegetables. So I'm now going to put the chicken fillets on top. And this is going to go back in the oven for another 20 minutes. And then we'll bring it out again and put the final touch of peppers on the dish. Okay, so that chicken's been in for 20 minutes now on top of those vegetables. I cannot tell you how delicious it smells. It's amazing. So the last bit of this dish is just to take those peppers, whichever colour you've decided to chop up and include, just sprinkle them on top. I'll sprinkle them around the chicken because we need them to get into the juices from the chicken and the vegetable in order to cook. Just pop them down there. And it won't surprise you, I'm sure, to know that I'm going to pop that back into the oven for another 20 minutes. So the Spanish chicken has finally finished cooking, and we know it's ready because these peppers have just gone slightly soft. You still want a bit of a bite to it, but you can see how they're roasting nicely. Time to serve up. Oh, it smells amazing. And there we have it, a delicious plateful of Spanish chicken.